Our producers are in the business of selling the most total pounds of cattle leaving the ranch gate as possible. So we recognize the value of that heterosis that we get from that crossbred of using that Charolais bull back over a good Angus type cross cow.
Known genetics can add a lot of value in what we do. If we know what the background and the history is at the ranch and how those cattle are handled, as well as the genetic makeup, it just makes for a more well-rounded program and better success for the cattle feeder in the end.
Here at Mountain Meadows, genetics are very important to us. We pay very close attention and try to buy high quality replacement heifers and bulls for our breeding program. And we've worked with numerous reputable breeders across the country, ranging out into the Dakotas and even New Mexico. And it's important to us to have the quality genetics, to be able to have the ability to put the growth on these animals, and especially with the organic challenges.
Hello and welcome to The American Rancher. I'm Pam Minnick. Today on the show, we take a look at the value of Charolais and Charolais influenced cattle in a complex beef industry food chain using three specific segments: a commercial cow-calf, feedlot, and consumer or end product environment. It's going to be a great show. Stay with us.
I'm Dennis Metzger, an employee of Superior Livestock, where I cover about a dozen states throughout the western United States. The Charolais breed has a lot of potential in today's market. They're very versatile in terms of geographical areas, whether it's high desert country, high mountain country. They're a breed that are encouraged to be used on eared cattle in the southeast, southwest, southern portions of the United States. Work very well in the Midwest in terms of performance on English breeds of cattle. There's no one breed that is 100% cure for everything that's involved in the industry. You take Charolais and use them especially on British breeds where you want to increase performance, more pounds per head, more dollars per cow generated. That's their future and that's their brightness in the cattle industry today.
My name is Robert Wells. I'm one of the livestock consultants here at the Samuel Roberts Noble Foundation. I'm also the executive director of the Integrity Beef Alliance. That is a branded beef alliance that works with the producers in the Southern High Plains on producing a high quality value-added calf for the next segment of the industry, specifically for the feedlot industry. We utilize Angus and Charolais sire genetics in that program that are high quality from cattle that are top 20% of the breed for weaning weight and yearling weight EPDs. Noble Foundation and the Integrity Beef Alliance started using Charolais genetics probably over a decade ago because we realized the value of what a good crossbred calf will do for our producers' programs. Utilizing that Charolais bull on those black-hided commercial cows allows us to have that smoky colored, black-nosed crossbred calf that exhibits a lot of hybrid vigor that we need for our industry. The Integrity Beef Alliance is a value-add calf program. We're set up to be a terminal type program. This is a program that is not necessarily for everybody, but for those producers that are willing to embrace the protocols, they see that reward in the value of the calves as well as in the heavier weight cattle that they are producing. There are some protocols that they must adhere to. First and foremost, the cattle have to be from a British influenced type cow herd. So that can be Black Angus, Red Angus, or Hereford. And then we'll put those Charolais bulls back over the top of those. The additional protocols are that we require a set health program So there are certain vaccines and products that we allow, certain products that are not allowed. We need to have uniformity of management across the programs and across the different member ranches. And the only way you could do that was by giving a script of what program or what products are allowed to be used. And finally, we require that all the cattle that are in the program have to go through a 60-day preconditioning program. So that requires that the calves not only are weaned from the cow, but their water bunk broke, their feed trough broke, they've had all their vaccinations, they've been dewormed, they've been castrated and healed up, they're dehorned and healed up. And then we really try to push these cattle on the feed while they're out on pasture. And so the cattle are preconditioned on pasture with supplemental feed. And what we've recognized is those cattle, because of the genetics that we build into them, are able to gain very efficiently. And it's not uncommon for our average of those cattle that are in that program to gain during that 60-day preconditioning over 2.5 to 2 3/4 pounds a day. And so that makes our value of gain and our cost of gains very favorable. The bulls have to be in the top 20% of the breed for their respective breed in weaning weight and yearling weight EPDs. So this is what at the time the bulls are purchased. So we do require a pretty significant selection pressure on the bulls that are used in the program. And that really shows when we sell the cattle. We've got cattle that are spring-born calves, typically calving in that March, April timeframe. And when we sell the cattle the first Wednesday of the month of December, those calves are truly feeder calves. Average weight last year on 2,100 head that were sold on that one particular sale day was over 750 pounds. So the genetics are really paying off. We do prefer that our producers use full EPD information and genetically enhanced or genomically enhanced EPDs when available. One of the opportunities and advantages for the Integrity Beef program is that this program works very well for what I call small to mid-sized producers. A mid-sized producer in my mind is somebody who cannot put together a load lot, so an entire semi-truckload of single sex and very similar weight class cattle. So realistically, you've got to be 160, maybe 200 head or larger to be able to be considered not as a mid-sized producer. One of the shining stars of this program is that we offer a commingled calf sale for our producers in December. And that allows, because of the fact that we have a very uniform set of genetics, a very uniform management protocol, and very uniform type of calf phenotypically, we're able to very tightly commingle cattle within a 50-pound weight range. So what that does is that allows that small to mid-sized producer the ability to market cattle on the scale and magnitude of a large operation. So they now have that strength and power that a large operation would have. This last sale that we had in December of 2015, we had over 2,000, actually over 2,100 head of calves that were sold. Predominance, over 75–80% of the cattle were black-nosed, smoky-colored calves. And those were our heaviest weight class cattle. And what we saw in that sale was those smoky colored calves received no rollback, no discounts relative to black-hided cattle of similar management. So the industry is recognizing the value that the Charolais genetics can bring to the table. They have the ability to grade, and then they also have the ability, which is one of the #1 profit drivers in the feedlot, which is to convert feed to pounds of gain. So our cattle are historically bought by all the major feed yards. We had one yard in particular this year that stepped up and bought a large number of the cattle, which tells us that the cattle have been working for them in the past, both on the health side of things, but also just, if not more importantly, on the genetics and the ability to convert feed and to pound out large gains for them. And the closeouts that they've had have been phenomenal. On those Charolais-based genetics, they've been able to have cattle that were grading 80–85% choice, hitting gains in the high 3s, conversions that were in the high 5s, low 6s. So anytime you can have cattle that'll convert that well and grade at that rate, they're going to be profit makers. Charolais-based genetics have really taken a lot of our producers to the next level. Prior to their implementation of using Charolais-based genetics, a lot of our producers were using black-hided cows backed with black bulls over the top of them. And they had very good product, very good calves, and they were receiving good prices at the sale. But once they have made that switch over to the Charolais, they've seen their bottom line increase. So at the end of the year, their checkbook's a little fatter. And it's not from anything that they have changed other than changing genetics. A lot of times it's just the fact that we're using a different bull that has that ability to increase weaning weights. It's not uncommon for me to start working with a producer and changing out the bull battery. We can see a 75 to 100 pound increase in weight just solely based off of changing out a bull battery and going to a defined plan program with a goal at end.
Breeds of Cattle 2nd Edition is available now through this exclusive offer. This handsome deluxe edition is the perfect gift for that hard-to-find someone. This volume is exquisitely written and illustrated with full-color formal portraits. A fine addition to any den, office, or living room. It's sure to please and is available now. Order yours today.
Superior Livestock is proud to announce a new partnership with Biozyme Inc. Since 1995, value-added calf programs have created premiums when calves sell on Superior's video auctions. Traditionally, when ranchers think of adding value, it is derived from a quality health program dependent upon vaccinations. But together, Superior and Biozyme are putting a new twist on creating premiums for healthier cattle through a mineral supplement program. Healthier cattle are more profitable, and now cattle that have been fed a VitaFirm or GainSmart Amifirm-based mineral supplement for a minimum of 45 days prior to auction will receive the VitaFirm or GainSmart value-added logo in Superior's catalogs and on-screen as the cattle sell. VitaFirm raised targets cow-calf producers and is for calves that are raised on a VitaFirm fed dam and or was fed a VitaFirm mineral themselves during preconditioning for a minimum of 45 days prior to the auction and through delivery. GainSmart targets stocker, feeder, and backgrounding operators and will recognize calves that have been fed a GainSmart mineral for a minimum of 45 days prior to auction and through delivery. For more information, go to superiorlivestock.com or call 800-422-2117.
My name is Todd Sigmund with Dinklage Feed Yards. I'm the operations manager for the Colorado yards in Proctor, Colorado, as well as Fort Morgan. Basically, I purchase the commodities for both feed yards, manage the risk on the cattle, and oversee the day-to-day operations. Dinklage Feed Yards is a family-owned operation. We've got a group of stockholders, second, third generation ownership of the company. All of them farmers, ranchers, well diversified in the industry from basically all across the United States. We are very autonomous. We work independently with direction from that board on how we manage day-to-day operations of our facilities. And our stockholders today would maintain probably 75% of our total occupancy at the feed yards, and a host of different genetic makeup of the cattle that we deal with. Charolais cattle are an extreme value in what we do every day. The performance that we see on the cattle, the dry matter conversion, the ability for the cattle to get large, do well, and the nice thing about Charolais cattle is the packers desire those cattle. When we put them on the show list, there's usually a lot of aggression, a lot of desire to own them for a couple of reasons. One, the cutability is amazing. I mean, the cattle will yield very well, and there's nothing more desirable today in the industry than a black-nosed Charolais. They perform well, they hang up on the rail good. All in all, they're a pleasure for us to feed. Because of how they perform, as well as for the packer to harvest because of how they perform for them on the rail. We would sell a fair number of cattle in different marketing agreements, and not necessarily grids. Some of them would be specialty programs such as hormone-free cattle. The Charolais cattle perform extremely well in hormone-free situations. The genetic potential for performance is there, so that we don't lose a lot of efficiency by not having an implant on board. So those cattle work very well for those programs for the EU. Grid-wise, I would say maybe 10% of our cattle are marketed that way, but a much higher percentage go into specialty programs where we can still get the performance at the feed yard and reap a premium by putting them into those programs. Well, health and nutrition go hand in hand. Without good nutrition, your health program is going to suffer as well. Having a good, sound program set up with a veterinarian on the ranch to vaccinate, a good mineral program, weaning at home, doing anything you can to reduce stress on that animal before he comes to the feed yard, all adds value to us in the end, and adds value to the animal as well. But it's very important to get a sound vet-client relationship to manage your herd as good as you can at the ranch, and that will carry all the way through to the chain. The Charolais breed is a very intriguing breed. They've done a great job of creating an animal that today pounds sell, and the discounts in the market are not such to discourage somebody from making them big. So with the genetic potential in those cattle to get to where they're weighing 1,400 to 1,500 pounds is good for us, because we're in the business of selling beef. And so the Charolais breed fits that very well. They hang a good carcass, they get large, they perform well, and they're just a very well-rounded breed that fits our industry very well.
My name is Brian Kemp, and I manage Mountain Meadows Farm. We're located here in central Vermont, in what's considered the Champlain Valley of Vermont. We're primarily a dairy state, but we are a little bit off the ordinary here, being a large organic beef farm. We are owned by Dr. Emil Cooper, who was in breast cancer pathology for years and started this farm 20 years ago in 1996. He believed in organic as working in the breast cancer field, that it was a good, wholesome way to provide the public with a wholesome, safe product that he believed in. And he started with 8 heifers, Charolais heifers. He chose Charolais because of their growth potential. He had done his research and understood the potential there with growth and muscling. And today we produce over 335 calves a year. We direct market our beef to whole food stores along what's considered their North Atlantic division, which encompasses New York down through Boston, Connecticut. And we're in 20 of those stores currently. We have an agreement that they actually purchase the whole carcass from us, and we have the animal slaughtered, and it is put into primal cuts for whole foods and boxed into primal cuts. But they take minimally a half or a whole carcass, and I think that's unique. We're not being held with various cuts that we need to market elsewhere. They take the whole animal or half animal to each store. And it works really well for us. And again, 100% of that product is going to Whole Foods. The local movement, per se, is very strong here in the Northeast. And the consumer, I think, that's shopping at Whole Foods is really conscientious of where their products are coming from that they're buying, how the animals are raised humanely, knowing a face to the name mentality. And it's a lot of the, I think a lot of the customers at Whole Foods are like the millennial, you know, they're out of school, they're just finished college, starting families, and they're very health oriented, conscientious, like to know that the product that they're buying is safe and managed well. We're very proud to be able to put that on the store shelf for them. So back in 2011, Whole Foods started a new program through the GAP certification, which is a 5-step level program for customer assurance and food safety. We follow a very stringent vaccination program, and We can vaccinate with all live vaccines, and we do prenatal vaccinations, we do pre-weaning vaccinations. We don't have the ability to, go in and treat half the herd if we get something that's contagious or, viral. We run 2 calving groups. We run a spring and a fall, and our spring calving group will calve out between April 15th and mid-June. And then we start again in mid-August through the 1st of October. And that allows us to have calves maturing throughout the year rather than just having a slug of calves at 1.5 years old that are reaching our target weight. And that's important to us to supply that consistent same product year-round to the stores. Generally, our target weight is 750 hot carcass weight. We're able to maintain that this way with these animals maturing year-round in these stages. They're kind of, able to spread it out and not have a slug of mature feeders all at one time in the year. Some of the requirements we need to meet with the GAP and the organic standards is all of our cattle have to have indoor-outdoor access. So all of our facilities, whether it's for our feeders or for our mother cows, the animals have indoor-outdoor access, and we run bedded packs all throughout the winter for them to lay on so that they're not just on concrete. That meets our humane standards on the GAP side, it meets our animal health care standards for the organic, and it meets our water quality standards for the state of Vermont and the EPA. The whole mission of this farm in Dr. Cooper's eyes from the beginning was to put out a wholesome product, a safe product, highest quality that we could achieve, and all the while being very conscientious of the environment and our footprint. And we feel that we've done real well with that. While we don't grade our meat personally, we get feedback from the meat team leaders at these stores, and we're continuously putting out a high choice product.
It's easy to spot the man who uses Synanthic. With lower volume and less waste, Synanthic steps up your deworming routine. Get more deworming with less dewormer at Synanthic.com.
Smart Auctions delivers next-gen timed auction technology to today's market. Smart Auctions offers both large and small producers the ability to conduct horse race-styled timed auctions that utilize Superior Livestock's huge buyer base and marketing avenues. Our technology is built for the modern world and offers bidding on-the-go platform is optimized for mobile devices. Text messages confirm high bid or if outbid. Carry on with your daily routine and let Smart Auctions do the rest. Be mobile, bid smart with Smart Auctions.
In marketing Charolais and Charolais influenced cattle, I've spent the last 20 years developing that market, going out and building those relationships with feedlots and also potential commercial bull customers. Our primary focus is still red meat, still performance, still value in the feedlot, and that will always be the case. But they have become a breed that has some other functions that will keep a guy in the cattle business, in my opinion, in today's world. Our country is black driven, Angus driven, and that's a good thing from a maternal standpoint. You put a Charolais bull on those cows, you're going to get extra performance in the feedlot too, not just at weaning time, not just from your commercial producer, but you can easily add 50 pounds to a calf crop by using a Charolais bull on English type base cows, whether that's a Hereford or an Angus type cow. Add pounds, add acceptance on the feeder side of it. I've spent several years going out and finding those feedlots that want to feed Charolais cross cattle, and that demand is increasing. I still get a lot of phone calls. If you find a good set of silvers or buckskins, give me a call, I'm interested. So they can complement the British breed by giving you extra pounds, giving you a product that has increased demand on the feeder side of it. We're in a market environment now where Charolais cattle will increase just simply because we got to get more pounds on these cattle to increase the bottom line for these sellers. They're also a breed that is easily recognizable, and that's a big part of when these cattle come through an auction ring or show up on a video. You can tell what they are by looking, and there's very few breeds that you can recognize just by looking at them. There's many benefits that the Charolais cattle can add to a program in multi-geographical locations.
We hope you've enjoyed this in-depth look into the value of Charolais and Charolais influence cattle in today's complex beef industry food chain. To discover the Charolais genetic advantage, visit the American International Charolais Association at charolaiusa.com. To find out more about us, visit our website, theamericanrancher.com, or connect with us on Facebook. I'm Pam Minnick. For the entire American Rancher team, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.